Let's start over on the left. To play around with some of the features or settings in your profile, you can come over onto the left here, and this is the place where you can change various information. For example, contact details, working with children check numbers, residential and postal address. If you need to change any of those things, you need to keep NESA up to date with those bits of information. Also under the profile section, you can let NESA know about any qualification changes. You'll note here, there's a button there that says how to add a qualification, or you can click on create if you want to go straight ahead, basically putting in the information about your university degree. Note that you do actually need to make your qualifications official, I guess, with NESA. You do actually need to upload original certificates, which I haven't done yet. But see down here it says supporting evidence. I need to add supporting documents. Those supporting documents need to be JP certified copies of your degree. If you've recently changed schools, perhaps moved to St Columba, one of the things that you'll need to do is change your employment history with eTAMS. You can do that under your profile as well, under the employment history section. And what that will show is any old employers that you've perhaps had, and you need to make sure that St Columba is registered as your current and the only current appointment. If you, for example, have two schools that both say current, you need to go into the old school that you used to work for. So for example, if this was it, and it's just a simple case of changing the appointment type from current, I change that to history. And that just changes within the system. It means that St Columba will be your only current employer. If you needed to create a new employment record, if St Columba isn't listed here, you can do that with this button, Create Employment Record. Let's move on and explore a little bit further down our menu on the left here. Let's go on to Proficient Teacher. There's two main areas here that I'd encourage you to keep an eye on. The My Tasks area and also the My Invoices. We'll start with My Invoices, that's pretty quick and easy. This is where you can pay NESA your $100 yearly fee. It's also the place where you can come and download your invoices for perhaps tax purposes. You can bring up the invoice here and you can print that invoice and save it as a PDF, for example. So that's under the Proficient Teacher area and the My Invoices. I'll also direct you to the My Tasks area. This is a pretty handy little feature. It shows you anything that NESA wants you to do. It might be to pay your $100 invoice, or more frequently, it's probably to evaluate some registered PD that you attended. Here I've got one course that needs to be evaluated. If I come into the little link here, I can read about that course. It will remind me that it was the 2019 compliance, so the online compliance activities that we did. That gives us 2 hours of NESA accredited PD. You can see here that it's linked with these standards. And basically what NESA is saying is, how good was the course? To what extent did the course program address the professional standards? You can say, yeah, actually, if I've got the standards in front of me, I can see that it did address 4.42, 712 and 722. To what extent did you feel you gained useful knowledge, skills, understanding? You can read the rest. And basically it's a case of going through and evaluating. Once you've done those checker boxes, question 6, did you put in practice what you learned? Yes, I did. You can see that these questions are optional. You can type in a free response here if you choose to. And then basically you need to come down here and you need to click on Submit Evaluation. Once that's done, that 2 hours of NESA registered PD will then be added. A reminder that to maintain your professional registration as a teacher, you need 100 hours of PD in a 5-year cycle. So those hours can be broken up into registered, NESA registered PD, or teacher identified. So you might go add teacher identified activity. Let's say, for example, I presented at a PDH conference. What I would do is I would come in and select the activity type. Attending or presenting at a workshop, seminar or conference. Yes, that's good. Select. I can put in the date that I performed that activity, and let's say it was a 1-hour session. It will meet some of the Proficient Teacher standards. If I have the standards in front of me, I can select which ones that it will have met. And then I can come in here and I need to provide, please note, you need to identify, or you need to put in 300 characters as a minimum. So you need to say, how did these hours, or how did this activity meet the standards? Once I've done that, I can add that teacher identified activity. So when we come back to the main dashboard, probably the only other thing I'll point out is just the ease at which you can check your PD hours. Over here in the PD hours summary tab, I can click on that and it gives me a screen very similar to the one we saw before, where it shows me the number of hours I've done and the breakdown of those hours. So I've got registered PD hours, 56. Right up the top here, you've got this download PD progress report, and that gives you a PDF summary of all of the hours that you have.